has always been like the #1 city to live if you wanted to make something in finance. It's definitely well known for its financial industries. Like if you think of, Wall Street or just New York Stock Exchange, there's so many stories and so many interesting landmarks in New York that representing finance. But in the recent past couple decades, I feel like a new player has emerged in New York, which is the tech industry. So in today's video, let's talk about the tech scenes in New York City. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky May and I am a full-time software engineer works in New York City. So you probably might not know that I have been living in New York City for almost 10 years now, and I would definitely love to share my thoughts and my insights about the city. And if you are consider moving to New York City in the future as a software developer or as someone who's wanted to work in tech, this might be an interesting video for you, so stay tuned. The first thing first, I want to mention the differences between New York City versus New York State. So New York State is huge, and in most of the movies and shows, what we usually hear or see is New York City, which contains 5 different boroughs: Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and Bronx. And yes, New Yorkers takes our boroughs very seriously. Don't even try to fight me on that. In the past couple years, I have lived in Brooklyn and mainly in Manhattan. So in this video, I wanted to focus on the particular and special borough of New York in Manhattan and the tech scenes in Manhattan. So I do want to talk about how does New York City has rise up in tech. How does this even happen? So New York City has become America's top tech cities, which is surprisingly surpassing even San Francisco in terms of numbers of tech companies and startups. So how did this even happen? Well, it all comes down to 3 different key factors: venture capital, talent, and opportunity. So first of all, New York City has seen a surge in venture capital investment, with funding for startups and tech companies increasing every single year. This has enabled the tech startups to grow and also attract new talents, creating a lot of new job opportunities in the city and driving the economic growth. The second thing is that New York City has a deep pool of talented individuals, including engineers, developers, designers, and business professionals. You name it, we have them, including myself. And living in New York City for the past 10 years, I would say the talent pool in New York City is absolutely unbeatable. It's incredible. Not even to mention the students who are graduating from all these top-notch universities in the city. Examples like Columbia Universities, NYU, and even Cornell. Yes, you heard that right. Cornell Tech is also part of Cornell University, which is part of Ivy League, and Cornell Tech is located in Roosevelt Island, which is right next to Manhattan, surprisingly. And I think Cornell Tech built their campus like maybe 5 years ago. I can't really remember, but when they first built it, their main focus was to attract students who are interested in technologies and wanted to be in tech. And obviously, New York City is one of the cities that attracts a lot of tech opportunities and also growing a lot of special talented developers and tech professionals. Last but not least, I feel like this is really important to mention is that New York City is not only a culture melting pot, meaning that it has so many different people flying from all over the world coming here to build their career, but also this city is the home to a diverse range of industries, from fashion to media to healthcare to real estate. This means that tech professionals can work on projects that are aligned with their true interests and passions. When you're making meaningful impacts on the city's economies and societies, one of the ways is to connect with talented individuals who are experts or who are also have the same kind of passion for that particular industry that you're interested in. So I think that this city definitely has that diversity from not even, the people, but as well as different varieties of industries for tech professionals to be focusing on. So now you might already getting super excited about New York City. So you might wonder, well, Vicky, what are some of the highlights of New York City in tech versus San Francisco's in Silicon Valley, right? Like, what are the differences and what's your thoughts on it? Also, as well as knowing all these tech talents that I met who moved from San Francisco to New York City. And here are some of the things that I would summarize from my perspective. One of the most interesting thing I can say for New York City's tech scene that is different than San Francisco is that media is huge in New York's tech scene. So like traditional newspapers like New York Times, they have a huge tech team here. And also, if you know, Bloomberg also has its own headquarters in New York, and Bloomberg is a news, media, and finance and tech company as well. So what I'm trying to say is it's very interesting that in New York, there are so many, media companies that you can work for besides just tech companies. So I remember when I was applying for a software developer position at a software company that they build products that helps the media to track their articles and trending topics. That alone is how I can tell there's so many big media players in New York's tech scene. The other really interesting thing that I wanted to mention is dating scenes in New York comparing to Silicon Valley. I'm not sure if dating or finding love is part of your decision on the locations, but in general, New York City has a higher percentage of single women comparing to single men. And most of all, dating scenes is definitely accurate, like Sex and the City in the 90s. I definitely got many stories of dating scenes in New York, which is kind of like completely opposite of dating scenes in Silicon Valley or San Francisco, so I've heard. Another interesting part of socializing and meeting people in general, in New York, everything is just like so concentrated. It's not like LA, because LA is very spread out. In New York, you'll be able to go to, different tech meetups and different tech conferences, probably within, maybe 10 minutes of walk. So that allows you to definitely leverage your time and try to meet as many people as possible. I also think that tech scenes in New York is very interesting because people are from different industries, people have different interests. So when you're meeting people at a social networking event, you're more likely to meet people who are from different industries, which is less focusing in tech. And I feel like for San Francisco, even, especially in Silicon Valley, when you're going to tech meetups, when you're going to any type of meetups, everybody is about tech. Everybody is talking about tech, which is very exciting. But I think at the same time, sometimes it's just not as spicy. I think that in New York, you definitely have more opportunities to meet people who are in different industries, who are doing different things, different professions. And that makes the dating life or meeting people more interesting. Well, I guess that's just my opinions, but I don't know. That's my few cents. So now let's break it down into the tech sectors in New York. The first thing is big or startup tech companies. Small to medium startups are everywhere in New York City. Mostly they're located in Flatiron District, but there's also a lot of startups that are hidden in co-working spaces like WeWork offices. Big tech companies are definitely here for sure. Really huge companies, headquarters like Google, Facebook, Amazon, you name it, we have it. Number 2 is finance. As we all know it, New York is famous for its finance sectors. Lots of different kinds of financial companies are located in New York, such as the banks, the trading funds, the insurance firms. There are actually a lot of insurance companies in New York City, like MetLife or New York Life Insurance. The third thing is big Fortune 500 corporations. And the examples, I think, Verizon is here, AT&T is here, Bloomingdale is here, etc., etc. Number 4 is media companies. So like I mentioned before with the highlights, New York Times, Time Warner, NBC Universal, HBO, Disney Plus. There's just like a lot of different types of media companies also located in New York that needed tech professionals. Number 5 is ad agencies. I am very surprised to find that there are a lot of ad agencies actually located in New York. From big ad agencies to small ad agencies, there are just a lot of opportunities here, whether or not you can do consultant with them or you can also pick up a full-time position with these ad agencies. Number 6 is nonprofit organizations and museums. So nonprofit organizations are really huge here as well. There's a lot of benefits and a lot of museums, interestingly, are needed tech talent. Places like New York Library, organizations like Girls Who Code, the Met, MoMA, all these museums, they are looking for tech professionals as well. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities in New York. At the end of the day, tech culture is tech culture. I don't think that there's that much of a difference across cities. I think tech culture has its toxic parts, just like any other industries. And I honestly think that New York City is not immune to the bad parts of tech. You are not going to be able to avoid the bad parts of tech without getting into tech. But I would say this, in New York, it's definitely a work hard, play hard culture. There's a lot of people who are hustling. There's a lot of talent that you can meet in the city. I think that it's a great city for young people to start a career and to make connections here. The city is full of energy and possibilities. And looking back now, like 10 years ago, I probably would not have the same kind of opportunities to know so many people and so many opportunities if I weren't moved to New York. So are you also consider moving to New York City? Make sure to check out the other videos that I posted about New York City, my day in the life vlog, as well as my apartment tour in New York. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Peace.